Hi guys, hope you guys are all doing good. It's awesome to see you here. Thank you for sharing. I saw that Roderick said to smash the like and share. Thank you. And yeah, hi to everyone. So, what's too taboo for you? Well, some people probably don't have anything too taboo for them. Probably. But others, you mention something that's true and they suddenly back away as if you're on the edge. You're kind of out there, you know what I mean? But this is one of those subjects that I have learned, and I'm just going to say it, I've learned it from the Holy Spirit, the things that I'm learning. And of course, I learn it for other people too. I learn from other people all the time. I mean, that's how a big way that the Holy Spirit works is when other people are studying and other people are doing, reading the Bible and studying it. That's how he works. He does do work teaching that way, but mostly he teaches out of the Word of God, you know? And well, I mean, I think that's all, but it can be people too that are reading and studying the Word of God. I like what Coffee House said, Flat Earth Coffee House said, 2 minutes to Bible study. I like that. Because yeah, we're going to study something that it's too taboo for all the Bereans, guys. All these people who do have a great knowledge of the scriptures and of the Apocrypha and of all these books that are of such value to us now, they do study them. But sometimes, like I was saying a little bit ago, you're on the edge. You know, they don't like there's an idea that people have, and I think it comes basically from just living in a society of people who have a collective idea of what the Bible is. That wears off on all of us. And it's taken me like 5 years well, not taken me, but 4 or 5 years I've been shedding that in the appropriate way. You know, I'm not saying, oh, the church is wrong about everything, or the idea that you get from the church. That's not what I'm saying. But there are things, and if you go up in the chat, I think it should still be there. I'm guessing it is, yeah. This one's for, let me read a couple of my comments that I was talking to Lady K earlier in the chat here. This one's for the Bereans, but they already think they know everything, so they won't be here. And I'm talking about the Bereans of 2020. I said, many people don't realize that Enoch watched the space shuttle and SpaceX Dragon. And that's when then people say, whoa, that's too taboo. You know what, guys, I might have to let my cat out. Yeah, he's gonna give me just a second here. Let me play a video while I do that, because I have one ready to go. Okay, I'm back. My cat does own me. She knows exactly how to get my attention. She wants to go out. She uses the couch for, one of those scratching posts. So I'm always like, hey, I'll let you out right now, you know. Okay. Yeah, Enoch saw these things. And there's something that, like, I want people to understand this, how real the times we live in are. I mean, I'm going to be reading 2 chapters in Enoch, and we're going to study them together. 2 chapters that I think someone can read right through them and totally miss what they say. And I have done that myself. But this time, we're not going to miss what it says, because I am going to make sure to point out specific things that make some of these things undeniable. So I said many people don't realize that Enoch watched the space shuttle and SpaceX Dragon. And he told us about it. And I know people are, I mean, that sounds crazy, but just give me a half hour here and you'll understand exactly what I mean. And John, that wrote Revelation, he saw the space shuttle and SpaceX Dragon, but saw something that Enoch didn't see because it wasn't there yet when Enoch went. But when John went, it was there. The space station, the International Space Station. And people say, oh, that's fake. Well, that's not the point. I would have to agree that it is not part of our world. It has nothing to do with the earth. They are being deceived, whatever they're doing. And there's plenty of different opinions on, what that is, what that star that flies over is. Well, Enoch and John tell us what it is, and it's quite crazy. And there's many ways to verify it, too. In the scriptures, I mean. And then Daniel saw all of these and described them. So we're going to first look, I'm just going to read, should I read that first? Yeah, I'm going to read the whole chapter of Enoch 56. And actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to read 56 and 57, and then we'll go back and we'll make sure that we didn't miss anything. And I guarantee you, if you listen carefully, there's things in here that you haven't caught before. And it's exciting. It's exciting for me. I'm excited about it. Very excited. And it doesn't matter if other people see this or if their eyes glaze over and they go, I don't know, man, you're kind of out there. That's fine. They can think that. But I know what I know, and I'm not trying to push my ideas off on somebody. I'm trying to share what Enoch is saying here. So I'm going to do a screen share so you guys can see what I'm reading too, because a lot of times reading along with the comprehension can be improved. For me, that's how it is. So let's see, how do I get there? Okay, let's go to desktop. All right, you should be seeing Enoch chapter 56. Is that what that is? Okay, sorry, I can't see that from here. Okay, hopefully you can see it on your screen. All right, and I'm just going to start reading. And I saw there the host of the angels of punishment going, and they held scourges and chains of iron and bronze. And I asked the angel of peace who went with me, saying, to whom are these who hold the scourges going? And he said unto me, to their elect and beloved ones, that they may be cast into the chasm of the abyss of the valley. And then that valley shall be filled with their elect and beloved, and the days of their lives shall be at an end, and the days of their leading astray shall not thenceforward be reckoned. And in those days the angels shall return, and hurl themselves to the east upon the Parthians and Medes. They shall stir up the kings, so that a spirit of unrest shall come upon them, and they shall rouse them from their thrones, that they may break forth as lions from their lairs, and as hungry wolves among their flocks. And they shall go up and tread under foot the land of his elect ones. And the land of his elect ones shall be before them a threshing floor and a highway. But the city of my righteous shall be a hindrance to their horses. And they shall begin to fight among themselves, and their right hand shall be strong against themselves. And a man shall not know his brother, nor a son his father or his mother, till there be no number of the corpses through their slaughter. and their punishment be not in vain. In those days Sheol shall open its jaws, and they shall be swallowed up therein, and their destruction shall be at an end. Sheol shall devour the sinners in the presence of the elect. Chapter 57. And it came to pass after this, that I saw another host of wagons, and men riding thereon, and coming on the winds from the east and from the west to the south. And the noise of their wagons was heard. And when this turmoil took place, the holy ones from heaven remarked it. And the pillars of the earth were moved from their place, and the sound thereof was heard from one end of heaven to the other in one day. And they shall all fall down and worship the Lord of spirits. And this is the end of the second parable. Okay, so some crazy things here, guys. First of all, we have to talk about New Jerusalem. So I'm gonna open up Revelation. I'm just gonna open up Revelation. What is it, in 2 or 3? I can't remember. We're just gonna go to 2. And I want to look at something here. I think it's in 3. Yeah, it's in 3. Okay. Did you guys see that ad on the left? I don't know if you caught that. I think they listen to what you're saying and put ads appropriate, because there was just an ad for like cat food or something on the left. That's weird, if you ask me. Because I was just talking about letting my cat out. Oh, Beck from Oz! I left you a message in Facebook Messenger. So when I'm done here, I would love to join you, and maybe some of the people here can go over and check out Beck from Oz channel. That would be awesome. Hopefully the timing works out. So New Jerusalem comes down out of heaven from God. And we're going to look at, I think it's Revelation 3, verse 12. Him that overcome, this is Jesus saying this in John's vision. Him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my God, and he shall go no more out. And I will write upon him the name of my God, and the name of the city of my God, which is New Jerusalem, which cometh down out of heaven from my God. And I will write upon him my new name. Flat earth, guys. People hate it when I say this. People hate it when I bring it up. That's bad that people hate that when I bring it up, because that's what's happening, and they hate it. That's crazy. Like I was saying in a different video, to the people who get an uncomfortable feeling or an uneasy feeling when I say that flat earth is Mount Zion or New Jerusalem, it's the temple of God. It's being built, guys. If that makes you uneasy, then make sure to stick around, because we're going to verify some things that your unbelief is keeping you from understanding. And I mean that. And I'm not trying to rip on anybody. I'm saying you have unbelief if this makes you uncomfortable. For me to make the statement that New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, is flat earth or biblical cosmology. Well, it was prophesied that what Jesus declared in the beginning out of his mouth, that God's children, God's sons and daughters, would be called to preach it at the end. The same thing. This is the gospel of the kingdom, guys. And that's another one. If I say that this is the gospel of the kingdom and that makes you uncomfortable, I think you need to check your unbelief at the door. And it's not a negative thing that I'm saying that. It's a positive thing that some of us are realizing what's happening. And I get passionate about this. I'm sorry, but I do. Because I see a whole world of people who do believe, but they limit their belief and stop it where they feel comfortable instead of stopping it where the word stops it on the page of their Bible. Because something I can point out is that the flat earth is, first of all, it is being preached in all the world as a witness. And what Jesus said was the gospel of the kingdom would be preached in all the world unto all nations as a witness, and then shall the end come. So I hope you can shed that unbelief before the end comes, guys. But I think a lot of this has already been written in a way where a lot of the saints won't ever believe some of these things. And this doesn't mean that they're not saved or something. They're called saints. They don't believe. The saints have unbelief in the end. And this is in the Bible, I'm saying. Daniel 7 verse 21 said, I'm going to just open it up. We got some cool studying to do, you guys. Daniel 7:21. It just straight up says the saints are going to be deceived until Jesus comes. I beheld, and the same horn. Now this word is so important, guys. Horn. Okay. If I was, and I'm not talking about like a trumpet, but visually what a horn looks like, okay? There can be all sorts of different shapes of horns, I think. Many. But it's a conical shape, right? A horn? I guess a conical shape. I'm not the best with my vocabulary. My vocabulary seems to be limited. And that's just who I am. But the horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them. And the next verse, this is why I don't like Bible Gateway anymore. Well, I do, don't get me wrong. It's still an awesome resource, but they changed their whole format and I just can't stand it anymore. I don't like it. So that's why I've been going over to Bible Hub a lot more. Until the Ancient of Days came. So he's going to prevail against them until the Ancient of Days came. And of course, these Bereans, they don't know who the horn is. They have no idea. Because they don't listen to Daniel that he saw horns. And they were called kings. See, look right down here. It's Daniel 7 verse 24. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise. These are not men, guys. They're horns. If they were men, Daniel would have said they were men. But he said they were horns. And he was seeing a vision. He beheld all of this. He witnessed it. Visually, okay? So I don't want to get too far off because we're going to study these 2 chapters in Enoch because there's something here. But I had to go over New Jerusalem, and what is happening in the world is so significant for everybody that's alive, you guys. Everybody. Just think of how many years have gone by that these scriptures have been written down, and we're living in the last few years of it or whatever, of all of that time. Revelation was written like 2,000 years ago. So 2,000 years went by, and then now these things are coming to pass. I wanted to also go to Revelation, I think it's 20. It might not be. It might be 21. I don't know. Yeah, it's 21 or 22. Here we are. Okay, let me explain something. You guys know what darkness is? The place that they call space, that they think is a vacuum, that's darkness. It's not fake. The idea of space is totally fake. But there is a real place. And it happens to be Sheol. Okay? And people don't like that when I say that too. If these make you uncomfortable, it's because you don't believe verses out of Isaiah chapter 14. When Jesus returns, something happens. He's going down. Something else is going up to meet him. Okay? Hell from beneath is excited about you to meet you at your coming. It stirs up for you the dead, all the chief ones of the earth. It has raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. And again, it doesn't specifically say in Isaiah that those kings are horns. But in Daniel and John's visions of the time of the end, those kings were horns for both of those guys. So that's what I get the idea that these kings of the nations are not men. They're not men at all. So, but yeah, hell from beneath is excited about you. The KJV says, where is that? I got to go back to it. It says, oops, that's not what I was trying to do. It says, hell from beneath is moved for thee, to meet thee at thy coming. Okay? So, all the Bereans that are saying, yeah, we live in the end of days, stick to the story then. Okay? If you're saying that we live in the end of days, you better expect hell to be moved from beneath. Okay? Because in the end of days, Jesus is flying with the clouds of heaven. Which reminds me, I want to show you guys something else. 2nd Esdras, chapter 13. You know how I was saying that flat earth is Mount Zion coming down? It's like, it's the mountain of the Lord. Look at this. Let me just show you another verification of that. And I'm talking about current world events that are happening. And not like on the world stage, but more in society, happening in the churches and happening in private lives. Your life, my life, our families, friends, things that we do, our jobs. There's something happening in all that, okay? I want to find this. It's in the interpretation, I think. Okay, I'm just going to start reading in, this is 2nd Ezra chapter 13, verse 25. The interpretations of the vision are as follows. I should probably read okay, we're going to go back up. Sorry, guys. Okay, in his vision, he saw a man flying among the clouds of heaven. And that man, where is it? Verse 6, as I watched, he carved a great mountain for himself and flew onto it. Okay? And this is going to give us the interpretation. It's Mount Zion. Oops, where did that go? I went too far. Okay, what was it? Verse was I on? Sorry, guys. I'm like pumped because I want, like, just the idea that this is happening in our world. Hey, Growler, good to see you. And everybody else, of course. I'm not trying to be picky choosy. I'm just saying I saw Growler and it was cool to see Growler here. I will tell you the interpretation. Okay. This is the interpretation. Did I go too far? I don't know what I did. I had it a minute ago. Oh, verse 25. I'm sorry. The interpretation of the vision are as follows. In that you saw a man going up from the heart of the sea. That is the one whom the Most High has been keeping for many ages. He will liberate God's creation all by himself, and he will put in order those who are left. I'm trying to find the part where he gives the interpretation of that mountain. Okay, right here, yeah. Verse 35. Or let's do 34. I was on YouTube today and I saw a couple of videos Daniel Pratt put up. And he's always keeps you on your toes, Daniel does. And I like watching his videos because often it reminds me of the contrast or the big difference between two types of people in this world today. There's ones that are seeking truth and there's ones that are gathered against it. That's just a fact. The ones that are gathered against it, they don't think that the truth is truth. They think that it's any number of different negative terms I could use. And they use them. But they're gathered against it. So, verse 34, an innumerable mob will be gathered together, as you saw, wanting to come and fight against him. But he will take his stand on the summit of Mount Zion. Now think about flat earth, guys, when I read this next verse. Zion will come and will appear to all, built and ready, as you saw a mountain carved without hands. My son himself will indict the assembled nations for their impious deeds. That's happening, guys. Today, that's happening. These things were indicated by the storm. He will scold them for their evil plans and reveal the torments in which they are about to be tortured. Okay, the future of the people who do not believe the truth is not good, guys. And if that puts fear into your heart because you don't believe what I'm telling you is truth, I don't think there's a problem with that. I think if you have a little fear in your heart, it just fulfills the scriptures. Because what does this say up here? It talks about the innumerable multitude in verse 5. I kept watching these things, and an innumerable multitude of people came together from the four winds of heaven to fight against the man who had come up from the sea. I watched as he carved a great mountain out, okay? Look what it says in verse 8. After this I looked, and I saw that all who had gathered to do battle against him were sorely afraid, yet they dared to fight. Are you going to be one of those people? I sure hope not, guys. Like, there's a lot of people that come to my channel that think a lot of the things I say are ridiculous, or a lot of things that the scriptures say are ridiculous. And I sure hope that you can try to find it in your heart to listen and, well, melt like wax melts when it feels the fire. Because Jesus is uttering his voice today, and this is so important. Verse 4 says, wherever an utterance came from his mouth, all who heard his voice, so all who heard his voice melted as wax melts when it feels the fire. Okay? Back to Enoch. Wow. There's so much. There's just so much. Verse 5 here. In those days the angels shall return. Do you guys know how the angels return? Let's go to Revelation 13 really quick. Oh wait, we didn't even get into Revelation 21. Well, I'm going to show you Revelation 13, Revelation 12, sorry. The angels shall return. How do they return? How do angels manifest into the world? Fallen angels, how do they do that? Well, it says here. Look at this. And his tail, let's talk about the dragon. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven and did cast them to the earth. Right there. That's the Falcon 9 booster, guys. The dragon's tail. John saw a wonder of a dragon in heaven. It had 10 horns. SpaceX built 10 dragon capsules. And they're conical shaped. And they're called Dragon. And now the one that they're building, the next one that came up from those ones, is the Dragon version 2. And it can carry 7 passengers or astronauts. Look at that. 7 crowns upon his heads. These things seem to make sense to me. But yeah, they're coming down. I don't know how they're doing it, whatever. But he makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men and deceives them that dwell on the earth, guys. So don't be deceived. I saw someone in the chat earlier, or maybe it wasn't in the chat here. Maybe it was on Facebook. I don't remember where it was. Yeah, it was on Facebook. They said Elon Musk is faking fire instead of making fire come down from. He's faking fire coming down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. And that's a good way to look at it too. Whatever. If you think it's fake, that's fine. But the fact that the world believes this is happening, that is significant. So these angels, let's look here. Verse 5. And in those days the angels shall return and hurl themselves to the east upon the Parthians and Medes. They shall stir up the kings. Remember, the kings in Daniel and John's visions were horns. So let's see what they do. Verse 6. This is such a crazy 2 verses right here. And they shall go up. You guys know what direction that is? That's up. They shall go up and tread underfoot the land of his elect ones. And I know I've asked you guys this in the chat. Hey, Cleary. I know you guys have asked. I've asked you guys this in the chat, but where is the land, or what is the land of his elect ones? Which, what's it talking about? Of God's elect ones. Where's the? It's New Jerusalem, right? Let me go back to this Revelation 21. John said this. He said, "And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and first earth were passed away." Oh man, someone's watching Simpsons upstairs. Can you guys hear that? I'm just asking. It's plenty loud where I'm at. It's my dad and my brother. So, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. Thank you, Flat Earth Coffee House. That's right. You hear it still, Pearl? I can't do anything about it, guys. Sorry. My dad's been a carpenter his whole life, and you gotta crank up the volume sometimes, right? Running skill saws your whole life isn't probably good for your ears. Yeah. Okay. So there was no more sea. Do you know what that's talking about? It's not talking about the oceans on the ground, on the earth. It's talking about no more waters above, no more dark waters, no more darkness, because the darkness is going to consume the earth, and it's going to fall into an abyss. So that's why John saw a new one, a new heaven and a new earth, because when you look up at the sky, it's going to be not dark at night, because there's going to be no night. So I don't know what to expect about that, but so let's go look at this again. This is crazy. So it says here they're going to go up and tread underfoot Zion, right? Mount Zion. And then what it says here in parentheses, it says, "And the land of his elect ones shall be before them a threshing floor and a highway. But the city of my righteous," that would also be, where would that be? New Jerusalem, right? Because remember, Jesus said, "I will make you a pillar in the temple of my God," or whatever, "and you shall go no more out." So that city of his righteous shall be a hindrance to their horses. Well, you guys, I want people to understand how much sense this makes. Their horses, they're going to rouse them from their thrones, right? What does it say specifically? It says, I can't remember where it said that. Oh yeah, that's up above a little bit. It says, "They shall stir up the kings, so that a spirit of unrest shall come upon them, and they shall rouse them from their thrones, that they may break forth as lions from their lairs, as hungry wolves among their flocks." So this is a real thing, guys. A very real thing. These horns are something that these prophets saw a long, long time ago. Long time ago. They saw it a very long time ago. And they didn't know what they were watching. They were just told to write it down. So they wrote it down, and they did a very good job. And all the saints ignore it. They kill the prophets. Have you guys ever seen someone put a cigarette on the ground and put their foot on it and stomp it out, like kind of, left and right with their foot? That's what they're doing to the prophets. That's what the Bereans are doing to the prophets. They're doing that to Enoch. They're doing it to John. They're doing it to Daniel. They're doing it to Ezra. They're doing it to Isaiah. They're doing it to all these prophets. They're killing them, or whatever you want to call it. They're making their words that they wrote down of no effect. Because they're talking about Rome, the Roman Catholic Church, which is harmless, and the Pope, which is harmless, and the Vatican, which is harmless. All of these things that these people think are evil are all a result of these real kings, the kings of the nations, because of the wickedness that comes into the world through their sorceries. And not only that, they end up destroying the world with their sorceries because of the evils that they learn. Well, that's rocket technology, guys. Okay? And the next chapter in Enoch is very clear about that. But let's keep going here. So the city of my righteous shall be a hindrance to their horses. So, you know, when there's thousands and thousands of people all over the world for the last 5 years saying space is fake, Elon Musk and NASA are liars. Can you put that into context of what that is in this story? It's so important, guys. Yet child trafficking is evil, but it is not. That is not that's like an evil that is taught to men by these angels. But the angels themselves do much eviler things. Okay, all the things that people do, like putting on makeup, they taught them, and they taught them how astrology, and they taught them all these evils. They taught them how to smite the womb. We still do all these things, guys. It's just we were born in a time when all these stories that Enoch and all the prophets wrote were forgotten, and they're made of no effect. So I'm not saying wearing makeup is bad, but I'm definitely not saying it's good. Like, I think at this point, it's one of those things that people in society do, and I don't even think it's bad because of the other things that are happening. But it's certainly a result of the fallen angels. And if you're a human being, you know what lust is. And there's things that obviously make that a stronger thing than other things. And makeup probably has something to do with it even. So it's just an example. But so a hindrance to their horses. Flat Earth certainly is a hindrance to space exploration, guys. Let me show you an example. I have to find it. I did pull up a video, though, on purpose. Which one was it? It was this one. Okay, we're going to watch this whole video just to take a break from the Bible study idea here for a second. This is kind of a comedy thing, but at the end of this video, you'll see me doing very much like this, a screen share. It's in the video though, but you'll see a screen share and you'll see me in the chat room, like a YouTube, just like the one that you guys are in right now on my channel. You'll see one of those, but it's NASA's 50th anniversary of the Apollo thing. And just wait till you see this. I have the perfect example of the city of his righteous ones being a hindrance to their horses with NASA. Okay? And NASA even says something about it. Okay? So just wait. It's worth it. But a little comedy first, but kind of comedy, but truth. So let's check it out really quick. All right, I just heard the call out for a good orbit. Dragon and the second stage are confirmed to be in low Earth orbit. There is one last task that has to be completed, and that is the Dragon spacecraft separating from the second stage. This separation will happen in a few seconds. The camera view we are looking at right now is looking towards the Dragon spacecraft from the second stage, and we should see a separation momentarily. And there we go, separation confirmed. That was the final separation for this mission, and Dragon spacecraft is on its way to the International Space Station. Now I want everyone to look at the left side of the screen. What you can see is that Earth is actually not spherical, it is concave according to this image. So we're going to leave this image up for a minute so you can think about that. I hope you guys are liking this. This is fun for me. Okay, I'm just pausing it to remind you guys again to watch really carefully when you see the chat, like the live chat of a video in this video, okay? And read what it says. It's crazy. And here's another view of the non-spherical surface of Earth from the second stage camera.
Just as the United States was the first nation to reach the moon in the 20th century, so too will we be the first nation to return astronauts to the moon in the 21st century.
Well, how do you plan to get there? In this trash can?
We're dreaming big.
Well, now I've seen everything.
And it'll get more and more obvious as you go along.
Okay, I have to confess, you guys, that was not the right video. We might have to do I only have like 10 in here, but it's one of these. Let me make sure. I'm not sure which one it was now. I thought for sure it was that one. But you gotta see this chat thing. So maybe what I'll do is I'll find it I think maybe it's at the end of this one. No, it's not. That's funny at the end too though. But let's just watch. Okay, we're gonna kind of skim through my videos. Hope you guys don't mind. But we're gonna find it.
You can move nice and slow.
Oh, it is this one.
Feel very thankful to have the experience to be doing this. I'll bring myself in and put myself out into your future.
I'm fast forwarding.
You got about 5 minutes. I will let myself go out now. Houston.
Okay, here it comes. It should be in about the next 30 seconds or a minute or something. With that live chat that I was talking about. And remember, I was talking about verse 7. It was, "But the city of my righteous shall be a hindrance to their horses." Did you guys see that? I'm gonna play it again, or I'll just do it still because it's kind of hard the way I was trying to record it like as it was happening, so because I didn't know if I'd find it again, so I hit the record button and screen share or whatever, and I tried zooming in and getting it. But so Rose Madsen, I don't know who that is, but she's pretty cool, obviously. She says, "Who thinks the Earth is flat?" And did you see what NASA JPL said to Rose Madsen? I'll find it here. I'm just kind of skimming forward a little bit. See how it's all shaky? Sorry about that. So then NASA said, NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory said, "Rose Madsen, let's stay on topic." I like that, Allison. It seems on topic to me also. Do you guys, let me read this verse again. "But the city of my righteous shall be a hindrance to their horses." I saw Flat Earth Space Agency, was it? I think that, yeah, it was Flat Earth Space Agency said, oh no, it was Lady K, I'm sorry. Said, "I'm banned of NASA channel and Seekers, LOL, I can't go chat there anymore." Why would that be? Because it was funny. She said, where was it? I lost it. I'm banned of NASA channel. Oh no, I just read that. Sorry. I thought I saw it. Oh yeah, there it was. They didn't like her asking question during a pool walk. Now, do you guys understand how that is a hindrance to NASA's horses, to their horns? Interesting. So I'm going to let this play out. It's not even a minute left. Oh, look at that. Perfect time to pause the video. There's a pink elephant in the body of Christ called Red Dragon, guys. And it makes fire go down from heaven. Yeah. The Bereans are scared from it. They hide. They don't like this interpretation. Oh boy. I'm it's funny to me because all this happening, I know there's people in this chat that totally get what I'm saying. Totally get it. Totally. And then we have the people that understand or that read all these scriptures and have a very good idea of them, and this stuff goes right over their head. I don't get it. But the next chapter in the book of Enoch, let me give you my desktop again, guys. I wonder if Beck from Oz is live yet. We're gonna check that out right now. Because I do plan. I didn't really catch what she was saying in the chat here. Hopefully she didn't give me details and I missed them. We're gonna go to YouTube really quick. I just want to see if they're live yet or what, because I love them guys. Growler and Beck from Oz. Let's see. Do we see a Beck from Oz? Not yet. That's probably good. Okay. The supernatural debate. Whoa. That might be interesting. Except that FTFE's there. Okay. So look what it says. In those days Sheol shall open its jaws, and they shall be swallowed up therein. Where does NASA go? Where does SpaceX go? What's their mission statement? Their mission statement is the same as Satan's mission, or Lucifer's mission statement. Did you guys know that? Let's look at this. I just got to tell you this because it's something that I realized not long ago, or actually quite a while ago. But how you are fallen from heaven, Lucifer. I'm reading like the, I don't know what they call it. I guess just the English words of the Hebrew, like in that order or whatever. How you are fallen from heaven, Lucifer, son of the morning. You are cut down to the ground. You who weaken the nations. For you have said in your heart, into heaven I will ascend above the stars of God. I will exalt my throne, and I will sit on the mount of the congregation on the farthest sides of the north. Do you guys know what sits on the farthest sides of the north? God's throne. God's throne is, let me just verify that for you. Whoops. Enoch 71 tells us that. The North Star, that's where God's throne is. And that's the farthest sides of that's the north. That is the north. Let's go to Wikisource. I'm going to start in, let's see, verse 5. And he translated my spirit into the heaven of heavens, and I saw there, as it were, a structure built of crystals, and between those crystals tongues of living fire. And my spirit saw the girdle which girt that house of fire, and on its four sides were streams full of living fire, and they girt that house. And round about were seraphim, cherubim, and ophanim. These are they who sleep not and guard the throne of his glory. And I saw angels who could not be counted, 1,000 thousands and 10,000 times 10,000, encircling that house. That's what the stars do. Every star makes a circle around Polaris. Every star. Except for the 7 that transgressed. that's a whole nother story. Those ones are evil. So in the book of Enoch, chapter 57, this is where Enoch, I think he sees the space shuttle. Let's do a little study. Let's see. Decibels. Is that, how do you spell that? Is it decibel? EL. Decibels space shuttle. Whoops. Look at that, it's already there. Because it's the loudest sound that men can make. Okay. The sound of takeoff. I'm just reading. Let's see what happens here. How loud are rocket launches? When a space shuttle launches, it creates a ton of sound. Sounds at 90 to 95 decibels are where humans start to experience hearing loss. Okay? Let's just look at this seeker. I don't really go here very often, but let's just see what it says. Maybe we should watch a video. Oh, they're going to give us an ad. That's okay. We'll talk while they're adding. I'll read down here what it says. Rocket launches can be so loud that scientists have to make sure their sound waves don't knock over nearby buildings. Just like we need light in order to see an object, to hear something, the sound waves need to travel through a medium, which is usually air. Vibrating air molecules pass the sound along, which creates a pressure wave. Whoops. I just paused it. Oh, these goofs. Those two goofy people. Which creates a pressure wave, which is picked up by sensors located deep in our inner ears. The louder the sound is, the more intense the pressure of the wave it creates. Do you guys understand what's happening? It all has to do with the air, the four winds of heaven, okay? Remember in Revelation 7 that there's these angels holding back these four winds from destroying the earth. And the other angel says, wait, don't let go yet until we've sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. So that's what's happening now. That's what's happening now is, here's what I'll say. If you believe the truth, Jesus will give you eye salve so you can see, and then you'll know it's the truth because you'll know it's the truth. If you don't believe, he's not going to do a miracle and heal you. He's not going to make your deaf ears be able to hear, and he's not going to make your blind eyes be able to see unless you believe. So believe. But yeah, you could be sealed in your forehead with the seal of the living God simply by, and it may sound funny, but believing in biblical cosmology, believing that what came out of Jesus' mouth those first 6 days, like when he said, let there be light, and there was light, that's truth, guys. NASA says, oh, we're going to make the James Webb Telescope see back to the beginning of time when the first light that was created. Oh, are ya? That ought to be interesting. But Jesus said, let there be light, and there was light. Period. That's truth. So, back to this. Let's just see what these guys say for a second. Maybe I shouldn't. You know what? I don't even want to take a chance on getting a strike or something. I don't need to listen to those guys. What I'm trying to say is that decibels of the space shuttle is basically the loudest sound that men have made that's not not the moment of a detonation. And now they're actually quieter. Let's see. Falcon 9, they're not nearly as loud as the shuttle. But the space shuttle's 195 decibels sound footprint, for example, was reduced to a more respectable 142. Do you guys realize how loud that is? And this you can hear from 8 miles away. It'll make your car alarm go off from 8 miles away. Make the windows in your house rattle from 8 miles away. Okay? That's definitely shaking the air, the atmosphere, like crazy. Okay? And we're going to get into Enoch chapter 60 right after this, because this is in chapter 60 is when Enoch saw it. He saw it happen. In chapter 57 here, he just saw the vehicle that they were in. So let's check it out. And it came to pass after this that I saw another host of wagons. Now remember, when Enoch wrote this was a time when probably wagons or chariots, that's about the most advanced vehicle. Okay, we live in a different time now. So what he saw, he might not have known what he was looking at, but he saw men riding on there. Okay, he saw another host of wagons and men riding thereon, and they were flying, guys, because it says, and coming on the winds from the east and from the west to the south. Let me prove to you that that's flying in the clouds of heaven or whatever. Let's go to Psalm, because if you want to talk about blaspheming God's tabernacle, that's exactly what it means. Let's go to Psalm 18, and let's find out who rides on the winds. Who rides on the winds? Let's go to verse 10. Okay. And he rode upon a cherub, and did fly. Yea, he did fly upon the wings of the wind. This is God. Okay? And he made darkness his secret place. So I don't know what NASA's doing in it. I don't know what SpaceX is doing in it. Well, actually I do, but do you guys see that God flies on the wings of the wind? Okay, so then when we go back to Enoch here, these men were coming on the winds from the east and from the west to the south. Now listen to this. And the noise of their wagons was heard, and when this turmoil took place, the holy ones from heaven remarked it. And the pillars of the earth were moved from their place, and the sound thereof was heard from one end of the heaven to the other in one day. If you can tell me about a loud host of wagons, loud enough that you hear it from one end of heaven to the other in one day, and that loud enough that the holy ones, the angels, remarked it, and it calls it turmoil, it calls it noise, and the sound thereof. Okay, remember that article we were just looking at about decibels? What is the loudest sound in the world? The space shuttle launch. You see that? Swift audiology. A constant. The shuttle rocket sound reaches a constant 165 to 170 decibels as it creates the power to lift. Okay, so do you guys understand that this is a vehicle? Happens to be, let's go to Daniel 7, or I was already in Daniel 7 right here. Want to see this? Want to see the shuttle in Daniel 7? It's in verse 4. The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked. That probably be 2011 when they retired the shuttle. Oh, look at this. It was lifted up from the earth. What does that mean? That means it was lifted up from the earth and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. Have you guys ever seen how the shuttle launches? It does stand up as it like it's not launching like in as it lands, like on the wheels. It's launching, you know, it says right there, and made stand upon the feet as a man. Daniel, props to Daniel, and shame on all the people trying to kill Daniel's testimony. It's a shame, because Daniel's testimony is right here on the page, and he said he saw this beast, and interesting that it came up from the sea, and the four winds of heaven strove upon the great sea. That's the waters above, guys. Okay, so I think that is mainly what I wanted to show. That's too taboo for everyone. That these prophets all saw these vehicles. Let's see. I was going to show you SpaceX Dragon version 2 right here. Because, here, let me prove to you something about the 10 horns really quick. All we have to do is we have to go to CRS 11 mission Now you're probably wondering why. This is Commercial Resupply Services. It's a contract between NASA and SpaceX, right? And SpaceX CRS-11 is the 11th mission that SpaceX flew to the space station. Well, there's a specific detail about this 11th mission. I think in Wikipedia is where I found it. Or maybe it's on nasa.gov. Let's look here. I've never gone to this one before, but they had, on this mission, they had to reuse a capsule because they only built 10. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to find that right here. Let's go back to Wikipedia because it says it right on the home page. I guess it would be this one. Oh, look at that. It's already highlighted in yellow for us. Talk about convenient. The CRS-11 mission was the first time that a Dragon spacecraft has been reused, helping SpaceX to scale back its production line and shift focus to Dragon 2. They only built 10, guys. 10 horns. Dragons. Okay. Now what Daniel, the Dragon 2 is the one that can carry up to 7 astronauts that Bob and Doug just took up to the space station and got cast down into the Earth like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Whoops. I gotta show you something else cool in Daniel 7 in Hebrew. Okay, so this beast had 10 horns. Now look what it says here in verse 8. This is Daniel's testimony. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things. I'm going to show you a video. I'm grabbing it right now. I just thought of doing this. I'm going to show you a video that it's literally a video of what we just read. In this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things. So give me just a moment. It's right here somewhere, I think. If it's not in this folder, then I gotta go to a different one. It's not. Okay, gotta go here. What did I name it? Well, there's so much, guys. I'm gonna play 2 videos, but I don't wanna... Oh, here we are. No coincidences on flat Earth, guys. Okay, let's watch this. You tell me... I'm going to read that verse to you again. Actually, I think it's in the video. So let's just watch the video.
I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn. In this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things.
Up there. And we're now about to fly sort of version 2 and version 3. And with each one, we're able to make the reusability of the heat shield better. So
There's 2 horns right there on the side of the Falcon 9. I mean, it
ablates less as it enters, and so we're able to get more flights. So that's Dragon version 2.
I beheld then, because of the voice of the great words which the horns spake, and of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes, and a mouth that spake very great things. In this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things.
So I'm sitting here in the pilot seat. Let me pull it down.
So, did your unbelief kick in, or did you see what actually is coming to pass? Like, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things. You know, Elon Musk talks about preparing a place for us on Mars. That's like kind of speaking great things against the Most High. This one I gotta play. This one here is when it says this king subdued 3 kings or whatever, that this one subdued 3 kings. We can watch that in this video. And this is actually Daniel 8. This is another chapter. This is the next chapter, which is the second part of the same vision. I don't know what to tell you. If you guys can't see this, you're really trying or something. Okay, let's watch this.
Then I lifted up mine eyes, and saw, and behold, there stood before the river a ram which had 2 horns, and the 2 horns were high, but one was higher than the other, and the higher came up last. I saw the ram pushing westward, and northward, and southward, so that no beasts might stand before him. Neither was there any that could deliver out of his hand. But he did according to his will, and became great. And as I was considering, behold, an he-goat came from the west on the face of the whole earth, and touched not the ground. And the goat had a notable horn between his eyes. And he came to the ram that had 2 horns, which I had seen standing before the river, and ran unto him in the fury of his power. And I saw him come close unto the ram, and he was moved with choler against him, and
Okay, you guys, I want you to pay really close attention to what Daniel's describing visually here. I'm going to rewind just a little bit. Because the next couple verses that Daniel reads, or that Daniel says, or whatever, are proof that we're talking about rockets. There's nothing else in the world that has the capability to do what Daniel describes right now.
fury of his power. And I saw him come close unto the ram, and he was moved with choler against him, and smote the ram, and brake his 2 horns. And there was no power in the ram to stand before him, but he cast him down to the ground, and stamped upon him, and there was none that could deliver the ram out of his hand. Therefore the he-goat waxed very great, and when he was strong, the great horn was broken, and for it came up 4 notable ones toward the 4 winds of heaven. And out of one of them came forth a little horn, which waxed exceeding great toward the south, and toward the east, and toward the pleasant land. And it waxed great, even to the host of heaven. And it cast down some of the hosts and of the stars to the ground, and stamped upon them. And it waxed great, even to the host of heaven. And it cast down some of the hosts and of the stars to the ground, and stamped upon them.
Let's talk about COVID-19. I'm just kidding. I don't want to talk about COVID-19. But, there's evil spirits coming into our world because of these vehicles. That's what it's saying. It's casting the stars down to the ground, guys, and stamping upon them. He makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceives those who dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles, which he has power to do in the sight of the beast. Okay. So that right there, I think Daniel described that as a he-goat with a notable horn between his eyes. Daniel 8 verse 5, I think it is, says that he saw it moving over the face of the earth without touching the ground. It was flying. And the fact that it goes up to the host of heaven and casts some of the stars down. You tell me what other kind of way is something going to do that? How is something going to get up to the stars, period, in order to cast them down? How are they going to get up to the stars? Anything. Is the Pope going to go up to the stars, guys, and cast the stars down? No. Is the Vatican going to do that? Is the Illuminati, is the Freemasons going to do that, guys? No. There's one man doing it. One man. And he has a dragon in heaven. So, there we go. Let's look at Enoch chapter 60 just really quick. Oops, that's something I was going to read. Oh, I just wanted to read verse 7 and 8. This is in chapter 103 of the book of Enoch. Know ye that their souls will be made to descend into Sheol, and they shall be wretched in their great tribulation, and into darkness, and chains, and a burning flame. You guys, darkness is an important thing to understand. Parkway says Google Earth is a flat Earth map. I believe it. Wrapped around a ball. Flat Earth Space Agency says Ram's things make total sense. You know what? Want to know something very crazy? Okay. We're going to look at 2 verses here. This is crazy. Something that this will blow your mind. And if you're a Berean, listen up. Daniel, which verse is it? Oh, Daniel 8. We're in Daniel 8, sorry. Daniel 8. We'll come back to Daniel 7, whatever that was, 25. Daniel 8, verse 3. We're going to look at the Hebrew word. We're going to look at the Hebrew word for ram. And I lifted up mine eyes and saw in there a ram. So you got to listen to Daniel's testimony. He said he lifted his eyes. So he looked up above his head to see this. Let's look at 352 in Strong's Concordance, or we'll look at the exhaustive, but this is the word ram. So let's look at this. This will interest you guys. So this is the word Daniel used when he said, I saw a ram standing by the river. Okay. Definition, a ram. Now let's go down here till we see something about Solomon's temple, guys. Where is that? Oh, what's this? Noun, masculine. Projecting pillar or pilaster. Let's keep going and see what else we can find out. In the exhaustive concordance, it says mighty man, lintel, oak, post, ram tree. Strength, hence anything strong. Also a ram from his strength, like the animal. But look what it says after that. A pilaster. Do you guys know what a pilaster is? Let's Google pilaster. What's a pilaster? It's a structural column that's built into the structure. Here, do you see that? Right there. These are columns. This is a pilaster. It's just a column that's built into the building. Okay? It's like that, but that would go up against the building. These are decorative, obviously. But this is probably the best example of a pilaster. Or this. Okay? It's a column built into the building. What else does it say? Where were we? We were here? No, we were here. Yeah, a post. Come on, guys. So you know what Daniel he used the same word that, where is this about Solomon's temple? This is interesting. The entryway into Solomon's temple. He used the same word. Where is it? Did they change this or something? Let's see. I doubt it got changed at all. Oh, right here. Pilaster or projection in wall at each side of entrance. In Solomon's temple. 1 Kings 6:31. It's the same word, guys. So, it's not an animal. I mean, it can be used as an animal, but... Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you, Tragic Effie, and all you guys. I wasn't seeing the chat. Let me, I'm sorry. Let's see. That was so dumb. Okay, here we are in the Strong's 352. This is the word ram. I'm just going to quickly go and show you guys what... Now that I found it, where is it? Here we go. Noun, masculine, projecting pillar or pilaster. It says projection in wall at each side of entrance in Solomon's temple, in Ezekiel's temple. It's the same word. So it wasn't an animal in this case where Daniel was using it this way. Okay, but now one other cool thing I gotta show you is in Daniel. Whoops, let's go back to Daniel 7:25. this is a side note. You know how we're in Daniel 7, sorry guys, 7 verse 25, I'm going to read. Okay, this is the same vision that we were talking about where Daniel saw the beasts. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High. That's happening now. And I'm calling them Bereans in some cases. And think to change times and laws. This is a new concept to me, guys. Let's look at the Hebrew. What times and laws is he going to change? Okay, so here's the Hebrew. Let's look what it says. Times. Or no. Where was that? Okay, times and law. Look at this. 2166 is Zeman. Time. Let's go to Strong's Exhaustive Concordance and look what it says. Season. Time. Does that remind you of something in Genesis 1? Because God made... Hey, YouTube! How you doing? God made the sun, moon, and stars for... Let's just go there. Since I got my computer here. And we're in a time in the world when all these resources are so readily available for us. We'll just go to Bible Gateway here. Look what it says here. Day 4. Where is it? Verse 14. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, and for seasons, and for days and years. So, interesting, huh? Let's see what it says. I didn't look at this one yet. And laws, decrees, laws. I'll show you an example of a law. Unchangeable law. Let's see. Decree, law. So that's very basic, but God gave all the luminaries a law. Every star in the sky has an ordained commandment course or whatever, that he commanded them to go on a specific course. And actually, I'm going to pull a video up, and then I'm going to try to wrap it up. Yeah, sun, moon, and stars. So this man in Daniel 7, that's you know, he's got a mouth speaking great things, and he's using a horn, obviously, in a horn, whatever. Yeah, there's like so much I could keep going on this, but I just want to see something really quick. See if Beck's on yet. Awesome to have you guys here. Thank you. I don't see Beck on there yet. But you know, YouTube's kind of weird sometimes. Sometimes I can't, like some of my subscriptions, they don't show up here in my subscriptions. And I have to like actually search for them. But, so, he will think to change times and laws. And what's happening in the sky. Oh, by the way, tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, live streaming. You guys should join me. We can watch times and laws being changed. Tomorrow morning, Starlink launch. Number 11. It'll be 650 something satellites that they've put up there since May of 2019. And no, they don't orbit anything because there's nothing to orbit. They're just up in that darkness. Which, if you watch this whole stream, you should be familiar with that darkness being not space at all, but it is a real place called darkness. And in the end of days, it's Sheol. It's filled with evil spirits and fallen angels and 7 transgressing stars that have defiled mankind into living on a spinning ball. And that is a secret that's been hidden since the world began, since like the 4th day of creation. And it's hidden God. It's something God kept secret. And now It's being revealed, and there's a reason why. It's so people believe. So that's what I gotta say. Believe, guys. My testimony is that when I started investigating flat Earth, like, something came over me, and it was the Holy Spirit. And I know everybody in the chat here that sees flat Earth knows exactly what I'm talking about. Someone was teaching you about reality without saying a word, right? That's Jesus. Like, that's how he does it. We're going to look at one more verse, and then I keep doing that, and then I'm going to shut this down. Revelation 3. This is I can't say my favorite. This is probably, when I say that there's some favorite verse or passage that I have, this is the one. This is one of my favorite ones, because this passage is what saved me from the world or whatever. And it's Jesus speaking here. And this is in John's vision. He's telling these things to John in the Spirit. And John's writing them down, which is pretty cool. Let's start in verse 17. Because thou sayest, I am rich and increased with goods, and have need of nothing, and knowest not that thou art wretched and miserable and poor and blind and naked. I counsel thee to buy of me gold tried in the fire, that thou mayest be rich, and white raiment that thou mayest be clothed, and that the shame of thy nakedness do not appear. And anoint thine eyes with eye salve, that thou mayest see. As many as I love, I rebuke and chasten. Be zealous, therefore, and repent. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door. Oh, this is such an awesome passage, you guys. This is truth right here. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him and he with me. Look at this. 2nd Esdras. That happened in his vision. That man, let's see. Whoops. Okay. Let's just read starting in verse 2. I looked and saw a wind rising from the sea and stirring up all its waves. As I watched, this wind made something like the figure of a man come up out of the heart of the sea. That man was flying among the clouds of heaven. So that's the waters above, guys. That sea, that's above. That man was flying among the clouds of heaven. Wherever he turned his face to look, everything that fell under his gaze trembled. Wherever an utterance came from his mouth, all who heard his voice melted as wax melts when it feels the fire. I hope you're melting, guys. It's not a bad thing. It's like when he shows you the truth. Why do you think we come onto YouTube, all these people on YouTube that talk about this? Why do you think we do? Do you think it's because we think it's cool or something? Yeah, it's cool to be an outcast in the world. Nope, sorry, it's not. That's not why we do it. We do it because we were commanded to do it once he showed us. He said, now you have to show other people. You have to show everyone that you come in contact with. Yes, Don Pratt, Jesus loves us so much. So much. And he is uttering his voice, guys, in 2020. And so you see all these people wearing these masks around, making themselves sick, trying to avoid getting sick by blocking the oxygen into their body. That's just, they're not thinking anymore. And that's to be expected, and it's only going to get worse, guys. And yeah, they're going to persecute the people speaking truth. But if you're going to weigh it out on a scale, you want to be on the side of truth, trust me. Well, you don't have to trust me. You'll know that on your own. So, should I play a video? I do have a couple. I have a couple funny ones. Should we finish up with a couple funny videos? Or at least one. Oh, Greta wanted to say something, you guys. Should I play it? All right, I guess. All right, go ahead, Greta.
This is all wrong. I shouldn't be up here. How dare you pretend? How dare you? You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words. Live with the consequences. How dare you?
What does the ISS smell like?
Oh, you can smell a little roast beef.
When we first docked with the shuttle, there was a noticeable smell, but you get accustomed to it very quickly, so I can't tell anything anymore.
You know, there was some I don't know how to describe it, but some feeling that it was real air that was coming in. And on the hatch, I think we told to each other, hey, can you smell the
You can smell a little roast beef.
Special, and we could really smell.
The poop remained in the toilet. We landed with all of our poop, and then the toilet was serviced once we got on the ground. It does, however, on occasion get stinky in space. What you smell in space in the cabin is generally each other. When we landed on the shuttle, after this situation for a few weeks, the people that would open up the hatch would get a whiff of this and be like,
smell a little roast beef.
Was usually the reaction.
Let's say you're up here on ISS and you need to go to the restroom. You want to come to this cabin, and the first thing you want to do is grab this piece of equipment and turn this rotary switch 90 degrees to the open position. What that does is it turns on a fan, which creates a suction effect in this hose, so that you can use this yellow element for your number one. For number two, the principle is actually exactly the same, suction. We have a solid waste container here, and on top of it...
After you get a little experience, you could do other things like peeing upside down. This was a challenge given to me by a more experienced astronaut who said it is possible to pee upside down. You should try it, and you can. You just flip yourself upside down. You need to be a little more careful. You don't want to do that on day one. You know, you don't want to hot dog it too much, but...
is this seat. And the solid waste container is connected via this hose to the same fan, so that, again, the same suction effects allows you to do your number two
in weightlessness. I want to show you how it looks, but since we don't want any bad smells to come out, we're going to actually turn on the fan. It's going to be a little bit loud. There we go. Now you can lift the lid. There is this seat that sort of looks comfortable, but you don't really sit in weightlessness. So most of us actually prefer to lift this one as well and use directly the opening that goes into the bag. And in fact, there is a bag in there. It looks like this. And when we are done with our business, we close the bag and we push it down into the solid waste container. And then, of course, as a courtesy to the next person, we put a new fresh bag inside. The solid waste container gets changed when it's full, which is roughly every 10 days for a crew of 3 people using it. This one, for example, was installed on the 61st day of this year.
Okay, so where does the pee go if you do it in the spacecraft?
In the spacecraft, it's collected and then dumped, as he described. And you would want to see the urine dump was cool, because you would dump it and it would crystallize and the sun would shine on it, and it was really
beautiful.
Fun. It was something.
I can't believe I'm having a conversation.
Yeah.
A beautiful frozen pee in space.
A urine dump.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, it's a urine dump. Hey, it's a urine dump, and we, before you hit the switch, I wouldn't go to the window and watch. That's it.
So you're telling me your pee was orbiting the Earth?
Apparently, yes. I never thought of it that way, but yes, for a little bit until it crystallized. It kind of disappears.
No, then it would re-enter the atmosphere.
Yes. Well.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah,
I
that's
peed
the
on
physics of it.
everybody.
You peed on Earth.
Yes, I guess
Oh
so.
my gosh.
Now the secret's out. That's it. Yeah. It is possible to pee upside down, which is kind of cool, and it is treated and it is reused. So as my friend Don Pettit says, today's coffee is tomorrow's coffee. as you're sitting on this thing. But you could still, your butt could still come off the back of it, and that's not good. So in order to keep your butt on the toilet seat, we had these two little arms that would press you into the seat. Actually, to help myself get the right position, as I put my arms up like this, like I was riding a chopper, I thought of Peter Fonda in a movie called Easy Rider. And that was a good alignment for me. The poop remained in the toilet. The more experienced recovery technicians would know that ahead of time and be prepared for it.
Probably roughly around day 71, we will have to change it again. But urine
gets recycled.
So from the pretty complicated hydraulic equipment that is behind here and makes the use of the toilet in space possible, the urine actually gets directly transferred to another piece of equipment which is here in the floor, which is called UPA, Urine Processing Assembly, which is the first step
into turning urine into potable water.
What does the ISS smell like? There's one smell up here that's really unique though, and that is the smell, we just call it the smell of space, but we experience it when I haven't had a chance to do a spacewalk yet. I'm still waiting and hoping for that. But when other guys did and they came back in, after we repressurized and opened up the volume for them to come back into the station, there's this really, really strong metallic smell. And I don't know exactly what it is. Something to do with maybe atomic oxygen interacting with the suit materials, or we're not exactly sure what it is. It's a very distinct smell, and it's the smell of space. It's really cool.
And it's just something that it's a continual occurrence. It's like a very small rain, a drizzle, and it's just something that you have to engineer around when you make a spacecraft.
What are some of the easiest ways that you can prove that the Earth is flat? There are so many proofs that the Earth is flat. It's difficult to know where to start. And it's not okay to think that the Earth is a sphere. This is not a viable argument. There are proofs all around you. It is not difficult to know that the Earth is flat. In fact, people have known this for way more than 2,000 years. Go out to a lake, flat. And you could make all kinds of measurements. Then there are some other proofs that are a little more obscure, but they're actually really lovely. So people have known that the Earth is flat for thousands of years. It's not okay to say that the Earth curved. And it's something where I keep getting this question. We really need to put this question to bed because we've known the Earth is flat. Flat.